welcome back to another episode of
Let's Get Spooky.
I'm Leanna Vamp.
I'm AJ.
And I'm
Why
Ashley.
do you laugh every time?
Do I not amuse you?
I think you're
I
funny.
forget what I'm supposed to do, and then I remember, and then I laugh.
Just don't blow into your microphone.
Okay, so on this episode, we are talking about mystery roommates.
Men in our house that
Creepy
we don't
people
know
living in
pays
your
the
house.
rent.
Yeah,
they
you gotta
don't.
pay
women.
rent.
Sometimes women as well.
Yeah, but like men are just mostly trash, so they're the ones that are like kind of scurrying around. So
It's usually a man
It's
in the
usually
attic, man in the
they're very
closet.
crafty with their body maneuvers, going through small holes.
To be fair, all the
Not
research
to be taken in another way.
Whoa.
holes as in attic doors,
Yes.
and closet doors.
Yeah, poop shoots, trash
And-
shoots, body shoots.
All the shoots. In most of my research, it was majority
Yeah.
of men.
Yeah. I
it
saw
was
one
rare-
or two that were women.
Yeah.
But. for
And
the most
sometimes
part.
when it was women, I have a couple stories that were a stranger in the attic or a stranger, and sometimes it was like a con artist, and I'll explain later. But have either of you had a mystery roommate?
I have had animal mystery roommates because I don't know, maybe it was because I was where I was from. Like we had a house and there would be like noises in the walls, and my parents would always be like, "Oh, it's like it's settling," and I'm like, "Bullshit!" Like the
Famous word.
It's the
Yeah,
house sounds like
settling.
someone's chewing.
Yeah.
Fuck off. So, but my walls were very thin. It was literally just like the outside. It was sheetrock. It was that fucking nasty fluffy shit.
The cotton candy.
The
I was gonna say
insulation,
asbestos.
insulation,
No,
and then
insulation.
wall. So what we came to realize was there was a woodpecker in our wall,
Oh.
and then at another point there was a squirrel. So
That's cute.
they're
Little
okay.
critters,
but
They're fine. Well, I
no
think
humans.
That's not too bad.
when most people have most of these scenarios, usually people think their house is haunted.
I also saw a
Or
lot where
animals
they're
and
like,
haunted.
they're like, oh, I thought there were squirrels in my attic, and then I went
Or
and
rats.
looked, and there was a guy.
Big old squirrel,
Much
It was a
larger
big
than
rat.
squirrel,
It was a
ball
big rat.
squirrel.
Would you, either of you, ever be a mystery roommate?
Hell no.
So I find this interesting because I would not be a mystery roommate. I don't want to live in a stranger's
too
house.
tall.
I'm too tall. I don't fit into small
You'd be
holes.
like, someone would hear you in the attic, be like, "God damn it!" and you'd like hit your knee, be like, "That hurt."
I'm too gangly and clumsy. I would for sure like blow my cover day one. Like
Yeah.
I would trip, I would drop something. So there's actually in my research there's a thing called frogging.
Yeah, I didn't know this was. I saw this.
Me
too.
neither.
What?
It's called frogging, and it's
That sounds sexual.
PHROGGING. Frogging.
It's the French.
It's it's like frogging. And the definition of frogging is to sneak into a house and live among its occupants without their knowledge. People who attempt this are referred to as frogs because they're jumping from pad to pad.
yeah.
So
It's very cute.
it is. It sounds really cute.
It's really fucking cute.
So frogs try to respect the house's inhabitants as if they
Yeah.
were roommates. So they're not there to like steal or like break anything, but sometimes they take food because
So
they
they're
need to
essentially
survive.
like-
looking
Needs
at it
it,
as
yeah.
a pond, and they're just found a lily pad, and they're just like,
Right.
They're just like, you have 3 rooms. Well, you only have one person in your house. I'm just gonna
what a
slide
fucking
into one.
creep.
But think about that. Like think about first of all,
You
you're
have to
sneaking
be
into
very
someone's home.
sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to understand, as someone who's homeless, at whatever mental state you are at, you'd have to be a smart homeless person because you'd have
For
to
sure.
understand ventilation and how you could get through the vents into the kitchen or whatever.
And how do you get in the house in the first
Yes.
place?
There was, I was watching like this, and it was like weeks ago before we even decided to talk about this. There was these people who bought a house, and you know those houses that have like the front windows that are a little bit more like bigger and like they go like like they're
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
feature windows. And
It has
then,
it's like a nook.
It
thing that
was
sticks out.
pushed outward on the outside, and so underneath they never would think to look underneath under the thing, and there was a giant hole. They just never saw it, but it was
Yeah.
a hole big enough for a person to climb through, and the hole went through the side of like their hallway, and they just never saw it because the hallway, there was a closet and someone had boarded it up, so there was this giant space, and they were able to get in the attic. So like stuff like that, it's not normal. Like you'd have to be a smart homeless man to like look under someone's house and be like, hey, either I'm going to make a hole or this is going to be a good way to get in.
Well, in a lot
It's
of
so
these
crazy.
cases, sometimes they're not even homeless. Sometimes it's just like a challenge.
Like that's just their thing.
It's like it's
they
fun
go
for
from
them.
house to house.
Yeah. And they go to people that have like really nice big homes, and they learn their schedule. So they learn, like, you think a lot of people if Cameron and I were talking about this, he's like, what if you have to pee or you have to use the bathroom?
Exactly.
So most of them will pee and poop in like jars or bags and leave it in certain places. Or a lot of these cases, they know at 9 o'clock they go to work and nobody's in the house.
Yeah,
So
so
they have
that's
the house
when
to
you
They
themselves.
drop a deuce
Yeah.
in the main tub
Yeah.
toilet.
Hopefully.
They have a poopy schedule
Yeah. Don't we all?
for when you're out.
So there's actually a couple horror movies that are based on this. One of my favorites is called The Pact. It was back in 2012. It's with Casper Van Dien. And a newer one is called I See You. It's on Amazon.
I think I've seen that.
29. From
No
this
pun
year,
intended.
I see.
I haven't
you.
seen you.
So there's two movies called I See You. It's the one with Helen Hunt is the good one.
I've
And
seen
it's-
that one, yeah.
It's actually didn't get a whole lot of press, but it's a very, very good movie. And I won't say anything about it because you have to watch it. I encourage you to watch it. It's very entertaining. But it's the whole idea of frogging, and you go into it thinking something else. And that's the main thing. Like even in The Pact, they're like, is this house haunted?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that movie because that movie is a little bit older. A girl goes back after her mother passed away to take care of her sister, and all these weird things start happening in the home. And she's a recovering drug addict, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I saw it quite a few years ago. Weird things start happening in the house, so she thinks her mom's haunting the house. You know, because that's what you would think. You're not thinking like there's someone living in the walls or someone living in the attic. Immediately, at least my mind would go to it's haunted.
Yeah.
And of course, I would do my due diligence to like check for squirrels and
Or
check
smells.
for a man or
I feel
smells.
like smells are
weird
the
smells.
thing. Like,
Right?
you
Well,
Like,
they're
now
keeping their poop in bags.
Yeah, but that's still gonna
Yeah,
smell.
but they're not showering and they're not, I don't know. Like you could smell an old man a mile away.
Yeah, I mean, even when we come
They
back,
smell like Home Depot.
Maybe they
and
come
like
into your house
Ace
and they-
Hardware and a bag of shit.
They grab your stuff and they rub it all over themselves, so they'll be one with the
That's
environment.
but then your stuff would be missing. Like then you'd be like, my perfume that is expensive. Why don't I have anymore?
Why
why
would a
do I
man
have
want to
just
smell
a
like
little bit?
me?
Yeah,
because he's trying to be one with the environment.
Oh God.
Your
I
environment.
have to say, would you rather, no, I mean, there's an obvious choice, but like, would you feel more comfortable knowing there's a human in your house or a ghost?
ghost.
A ghost.
Yeah, a ghost isn't shitting in my attic. At least I hope
Ghost
not.
poop.
Ghost poop.
Ghost
I don't know. Do ghosts, they don't
No,
poop.
they don't.
But
They
I
don't
wonder
need
if they
to.
go through the
Ectoplasm.
motions.
I mean, maybe they do go through the motions, but even if they did poop, it wouldn't smell because it's not real.
It's a fart.
What would you do?
Well, I don't like ghosts, so this is what troubles
You'd rather
me.
have a man shitting in your attic.
Well, I could poison him.
You'd rather have a man shitting in your attic.
Well, no, because
than
then I
be a
could call
murderer.
911 and be like, "There's a man." Like, you can't call 911 and be like, "There's a ghost." And they'd be like, "Fuck
You call
you."
Ghostbusters.
You
We're
call me.
here.
I don't like to think
And
about
AJ
a
will
man
come-
watching me take a piss who's like dead or
Wait, a
alive.
ghost?
To be honest, a ghost. It actually freaks me out. I'd rather have not like I don't know.
You'd rather have a stranger watch you take a poop
Who could
than a
like
ghost.
murder you?
But maybe
well,
he's
because
not
I don't
into
like
murder. Maybe
ghosts.
he's into just
They
poop
scare
watching.
me.
Yeah.
I don't like them. Fuck.
He's watching you in the shower with your squatty potty. He's like watching you.
And you're fine? As long as it's not a ghost?
Posting on social media.
This
Ghosts
is why
don't
I
have
live
access
alone.
to social media.
Oh shit.
I think you're fine. I don't think anyone... But you know when everyone goes home today, you're going to be checking all the closets and
Seriously,
the crevices.
like after doing research,
holes.
like when Matt and I were in our apartment up in San Francisco, I'm like, it's a 2-bedroom apartment. It's small. There's no way there's someone living here. Cause like, I know, like, you know, you look at your walls and you're like, well, I know what's behind there. That's
And
the
you
other
know what's
room.
above.
I know what's
There's only
above
one
me and all that
entrance
stuff.
or... Yeah.
Now we're in like a 2-story house and I'm like, there's all this
windows.
space underneath the stairs.
Have you ever
What
been in
is
the
behind that? I've never been in the attic. And that's
See,
one
that's
of
the
the
thing.
things.
That's a thing. Get
You've
in
never
there.
checked the attic?
I don't know how to get up there.
There's got to be
There's
a
usually
hole.
like a thing you
There's
pull.
a thing. No, it's one that
Oh,
you like where
shit.
it's like a board above, so you have to like get a stick and
Oh.
push
Get
it,
a
and then you
stick.
have
You
to
need a ladder.
get a ladder. And I only have one that has 3 steps. I probably need one that
Amazon
has 5
Prime.
steps.
Well, if there's no ladders, then the person that's up there's probably dead. Unless they have a
unless
different
they're
way to
like
get out.
really stocked up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But you would hear it. But you should...
field trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all going to AJ's house.
Yeah, that
I'll
could
bring
be an
my
episode where we
dowel.
check
we'll,
the attic.
we'll do like I'll stand on your shoulders and then Ashley can climb
Yeah,
up
Ashley
both of
can be
us
the one to put her head up.
I don't mind. I'm like homies with most people.
and search the attic. See, I feel like this wasn't a thing that I worried about
And now you
until, not that I'm really worried about it because I feel like, I mean, I'm pretty observant. So I feel like if things started going missing or, you know, I heard sounds, my immediate reaction would be like, maybe it's a person. I'm not going to think, first off, it's a ghost. You're going to debunk all of your things first. Is it a squirrel? Is it a rat? Is it a human being living in the attic or in the walls? If not, we go to ghost.
Yeah.
But in so many cases, and I think the thing that was the most fascinating to me is how long some people would live in these homes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I saw one where it was like this guy in Tokyo, he found a woman living in his house and she was there for a year.
This is one of my stories too.
A
So
full year.
I guess I'll kind of, because you basically said it, but there's a couple other things, a couple other tidbits that I found fairly interesting. So the woman's name is Tatsuko Horikawa. Hopefully I'm saying that right. In 2008, an unnamed 57-year-old Japanese man realized he had been sharing his home with a secret tenant. Prior to the discovery, he noticed food missing from the fridge and suspected a burglar. So he assumed he was going to work and a burglar was coming in and
just
stealing
taking
his
his
food.
Yeah, taking
'Cause,
his
you
egg
know,
Sammy and just leaving. That's all I need.
So after
Some bologna, please.
Yeah, give me that
my bologna
bologna.
sandwiches. So after realizing this has happened multiple times, food goes missing, he installs a camera, thinking he's going to catch said burglar. So he is at work or away from the home and he gets like a little notification on your phone of the video of a woman at his fridge. So he calls the police and he's like, of Ashley stealing his bologna sandwiches in Japan. So he calls
yum,
the
yum.
police. The police show up at the home and they're basically outside looking for some sort of, did they break in through the front door or the windows? Nothing. They couldn't find anything. The doors were locked. So they go in thinking, well, the burglar's got to be inside. He just called. So they go inside, they search everything, can't find anything. Like they can't find anything. And they're like, there's nobody in your house. So the police don't find a burglar. They checked, as they keep checking, they checked a shelf. And I think he said it was a shelf above a closet. So this was a closet. There was a shelf. The woman was climbing in through that shelf.
Nice.
And living
Narnia.
in there. 57. Oh, well, she wasn't 57 years old. He was, but I don't know how old she was. But she had been living in there for 1 year.
I don't understand.
In the shelf?
Yeah.
Well, so she
coming
climbed
in
up
and
on
out.
a shelf into the attic or
gonna
whatever, some
say.
sort of crawl space.
Weren't they saying that she was also like using his shower and stuff when he was gone?
She was
during
using
the day?
everything.
That's
she was
the
eating
thing.
his food.
They say like if your shower's always wet, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something's up.
Yeah.
Well, to me, that's like, duh. But he just assumed someone was coming in to steal his food, which, I mean, you would think, oh, someone's coming in to steal stuff. You wouldn't think, oh, they're living in the fucking cabinet above the whatever, using the shelf to climb into the closet. So I guess she had lived in several other houses in the area, and then she'd settled on his, I guess
She's
he had-
Frogger.
Because he was like the
He had the
most,
best food?
Yeah, had the best food and just didn't pay attention.
And he was
maybe?
probably gone the most. And I
Yeah.
guess I'm assuming he lived alone since he had a camera installed. But damn.
That's a long time.
That's crafty.
But also, what is your life like? To live in essentially like a crawl space for a whole year.
I mean, it's better
eating
than
scraps.
a tent, I guess. Like when you think
Is it
about,
though?
well, when you think about LA and I see like how sad it is to see tents and stuff and how there's the elements and you don't know in a tent at night. I'm sure it's scary as shit to be on a side of the street and not know who's going to walk by, who's going to drive by. In a house, you're safe. So maybe it's smaller, but at least
But
you
aren't
know.
you always like
On edge?
on edge because
you
you're like,
could
I
just-
could be discovered at any point
Okay,
and then I
listen,
get kicked out?
This is also Japan, so most of the living areas are very small.
Yeah.
So she probably would have been way happier in a tent. She just
Maybe.
stretched her legs out and not had to climb through a closet shelf to get in there.
I mean, I remember my dorm room in college and it was 130 square feet, which is like a coffin. Not a coffin.
right this square
it's
right
very
here?
small. It was like my twin bed wasn't even a twin bed. It was like, what's that? It's like smaller than twin. It's for like when you're in between being an adult.
It's like from the
Child?
crib bed to the
From
baby
the crib.
bed. To
It was
then the
basically an
twin.
elongated crib.
Wow.
And
Did your legs hang
Wait,
off
did
of
you
it?
have the crib sides too?
No, it was crazy. And it had like, essentially my desk was underneath it. It was elevated. And then the whole thing was.
I love those. It's like a bunk bed with the
wasn't
desk
fun.
underneath.
Nope, wasn't fun. Fucking sucked. And then the walls were concrete.
Oh,
and
yep.
They were
You
Facebook
could see
blue.
the
Facebook blue. Like not even cute
What?
blue. But it was like a prison. But
Yeah.
I figured out how to live in small spaces. So when I moved to Seattle and apartments were like 400 square feet for like $2,000. You're
Yeah.
just like, I guess I'll live in a
You're like,
closet
this
again.
is luxury.
You wake up and you smell macaroni because you're basically living in your kitchen.
in your kitchen.
Yeah. So for me, I was like, I could live in a crawl space if I had
could
to.
not.
I could.
You got too much
Have you
shit.
seen? I do have a lot of things. I'm also very long. And have you seen me like try to climb into the minivan or do anything? Like I can't do
You're
anything
gangly.
gracefully. Gangly is yes for
You're
sure.
like Jack Skellington,
with no
Yeah.
coordination.
which he's very
Like a baby
polite,
giraffe.
but he's very gangly. Yeah.
He's very gangly.
I'm like a fucking fat cat with a attitude. But I can crawl in a
With
small
cat
space.
too, so you're exactly
Okay.
like
With
you're a cat.
attitude. And I'm just like, I'm good with crawly small spaces.
Crawly
Yeah.
spaces. Well, I say no to living in.
But I wouldn't do it because I don't have to.
That's true. That's true. None of us have to, and that's a great thing. So we're blessed.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone have another story?
Well, I have one. I was just trying to flip my page. So the one that I found really interesting was this guy, Glady Hendricks. He's a horror writer now, and he's written things that I don't know about, so I'm sorry.
We know he writes some spooky
He wrote
stuff.
My
He
Best
writes
Friend's
spooky things, but I don't
Exorcism,
know.
which I don't know if you've
But
heard
you're
of.
gonna
I
say my
haven't.
best friend's wedding. I was like, that's a
No,
different kind of horror.
Writes things including Horror Store and My Friend's Exorcism, which I've never heard of. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to look them up. But apparently he's a horror writer. So
But that's not what we're here for. We're here for his.
We're here for his
yeah.
story. But it was ironic because he was a horror writer and this happened in his childhood. So it was like his own personal horror.
Inspiration.
Yeah. So he wrote this whole Twitter thread about it and he was like, oh, holy shit. Because he was 9 years old at the time, living in his parents' house. And one of the things which I remember doing this as a kid too, is when my parents would go to sleep, I would go down into my kitchen and I would kind of snack a bit. So he would do that. He would like eat leftovers. Like he's like, oh, mama and dad are sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat some Chinese food. So he goes down and he eats the Chinese food. And what he realizes over time is when he would go back down, like he would kind of know the amount left.
Right.
But then when he would go down, he'd be like, fuck, there's not a lot left. Like,
Because
what's
you
happening?
can't eat too much of it because then your parents are going to be like,
You
Jimmy,
notice.
are
So
you
yeah,
eating
have
some
this
other
too,
sick
yeah.
fuck was eating the food before he could get to it. So he's like, okay.
What if they ate it with their fingers?
Well,
Or
So
just
this
eating
is-
it out of the thing. Like, what
Yeah.
if it's like a milk carton and
Well, no,
Okay, sorry.
they were
Oh.
using proper instruments. So on a night in 1981, he went into the den where he heard sounds of a fork clicking, which you know is like like the
What
fork
is it like?
Yep, like eating some fucking noodles.
That's what it sounds like when you eat noodles.
what it
And
sounds
so
like when I
then
eat
he
noodles.
looks in the kitchen and he sees the silhouette. You know how the microwave kind of has like a glow, like it has the lights of the
microwave was
buttons.
on?
No, the lights of the buttons and the lights of the
Oh,
the
yeah,
clock.
yeah,
There's just
okay,
a,
got it.
like a low kitchen.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
low
so-
kitchen
but he could
aura.
see the-
He
Yeah.
could see the outline of the guy eating shit, and he went, "Oh shit!" So then he went up silently, very silently, to his parents' room. He's like,
What a
"Mama
good
and Dada, there's a
child."
motherfucker in the kitchen." Very silently,
'Cause when you're
and
9,
his
that's-
parents
that's
are
very
so
tough.
fucking klutzy and loud. They're like, "Oh shit!" So they're so fucking loud and annoyingly like slow. By the time they get down there, he's gone. So then the kid
No
looks
way.
like a
Like
lion.
he's
Yeah,
lying.
he's
Yeah.
like making
You're making
crying
stuff
wolf.
up.
Yeah.
So that all happened. And then over time, he would, and his parents would realize that like napkins were misplaced and like
Oh,
mugs
so the
were in
person
weird-
came back?
The person was living in there.
Okay.
He was living up in the vents, which is gross. But he would notice like mugs were askew, like things were just not in the places that they were supposed to be. So
Yeah.
one night he was reading in his room, in his bed. He looks up in the vent and he sees eyes watching him. So he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Mama and Dada, you motherfuckers.
It's a
Mama,
raccoon.
Dada.
Yeah. And then his parents checked and they were like, fuck you. We don't see anything. But then by
They're
the
so
end, so this was all
parents-ly.
happening in the summer of like 1981. So then by the end of that month, the same month that like a lot of the main things were happening where things were askew.
And he was
Noodles were
home because
slurped.
of summer, so he's
He was-
noticing
yeah.
it more.
So then he's like, hey, what the fuck? There's a smell and it's rank. And
It's the poop in the bag.
oh no, it's not the poo poo.
Oh.
It's a whole body decomposing. So one night, maggots fell over his out of the vent and over on his bed, and he was like, "This is fucked up." So they thought an animal died. So then finally, the parents were like, "I guess we should like call the cops or something." So or the animal exterminator. So they call people to check it out, and they realize there's a dead man in their vents.
Oh my God.
And they could have stopped it. They could have listened to their child, and that man wouldn't have died, and maybe
Yeah.
he would have died somewhere
And
else.
granted, he's a 9-year-old. They were probably like, you have an imaginative
Yeah.
relation-" Like, they probably thought he was blaming a guy for eating shit at night.
Oh, gotcha.
Being like, oh, it was
Gotcha.
a guy.
Yeah.
Come check
You
it out.
didn't
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
eat all those
Yeah.
noodles.
Yeah.
The guy in the kitchen did it.
So that was creepy to me because I don't like vents. Like they piss me off. And I'm really happy
I'm like
that there's
looking
none
around.
here.
There's
Vents in
none
here.
I don't, because when I first moved to LA, when I lived in West Hollywood, the vents, when I turned on the AC, spiders would start crawling out of it. So I could never have the AC on. And I'm always very skeptical of open slots in my life, unless it's for a fucking Pop-Tart on my toaster. Not about it. But I don't want eyes looking back at me
No
either.
man can hang out in the toaster.
Yeah, fuck that shit. So anyways, I thought that was cool.
How big are those vents? I think
it was-
they normally
about-
that big?
No, think about like,
it was
I'm going
an
to try
old
to balance
house.
this.
I feel like
They're like
normally,
this.
This was like a whole ventilation system.
But yeah, he's in the ventilation system, but like the little vent with
Yeah.
the grates is like that. So if someone
if
was
he's
there
looking
looking,
down,
you would
They
Can
found
you?
a whole setup in there, like pillows and stuff. Like they
Built a fort.
literally said that the way that he was propped up is in a way that he could watch the kid.
Ew.
Like his pillow was placed so that he was just kind of like watching.
He was
Oh,
a
so it's even
creepy-
worse.
Yeah.
It's like a pedo.
Yeah,
Gross. Well,
Cute
at least,
stuff.
At least he did, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
I know.
He turned
poor
into maggot
kid.
food.
He died.
He died.
He
Oh yeah,
died.
he died. Sorry, I said
Yeah.
it wrong.
But yeah, I was like, that's interesting because it's probably like stemmed a lot of his. Maybe I don't know. I haven't read his shit. Sorry, but maybe it's helped him write horror shit because
Yeah,
he's
he's
had a horrible
traumatized.
life.
He's
Yeah.
lived that horror.
Yeah, man.
Well, moral of this story, also like listen to kids have imaginations, but sometimes they're not making shit up. So
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't a very reputable 9-year-old, but I would say that I had a brain.
I mean, I probably
And a
made shit up when
nose.
I was 9, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't like.
And I was definitely eating noodles at midnight. My body definitely showed that. So
Can we just flash a photo of
my
Ashley
fat
as
ass.
a child?
Yeah.
I feel like
We
you're
should.
probably real cute.
I'll put it in the Dropbox.
Add that to the Dropbox.
It's never gonna show up.
That's my story.
I
we'll
love
just
that
have
one.
someone draw like an artist rendering.
Yeah, it literally looked like fucking Shrek. So
Oh my god.
donkey,
Oh my god.
donkey.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to go next? I have so many stories. So
Yeah, there's
you
a
do
lot
one.
of this one's a lot of little ones.
That one was real good.
that one is
that
good.
a lot.
Thanks, guys. I did my research.
Good researching.
Thanks.
So when like this subject has always fascinated me a lot because I would watch those like top 10 scary like secret footage that people get in their houses or like, you know, like those type of stuff on
Yeah.
YouTube or like top 10 scary like ring videos and stuff like that. So
Top 10
I
creepy
feel like I
people.
always see this and like it would always make me go home and I'm like looking around and seeing what's going on. So yeah, this has always been something that has fascinated me.
Well, you added it to we have like an ongoing
Yeah.
list of topics. And I was like, oh, AJ had this one. We're doing this one.
This is my creepy one. So this one is pretty creepy. University of North Carolina student finds a man in her closet. So her and her
Delicious.
roommates started noticing like things would go missing, like her
How big is her
personal
closet?
stuff. There's photos.
We'll add them.
If
Yeah,
it's a
we'll add
walk-in, you can make that work.
Yeah.
That's like a New
I
York
just think
apartment.
of all my closets and I'm like, there's no way a man could live
I
in
could
here.
live in my walk-in closet.
Oh, yeah. Yours is pretty
It's cozy.
decent.
Yeah.
I also think it was like he was coming and going. So like,
Oh, it's not like he would. Yeah. So he
yeah,
would just
like they
work
had
around
some
their
issues
schedules.
because they said also there was this issue, but then there was also another time where there was just like two guys in their living room and they're like, how are you getting into our house? So like obviously it's an ongoing problem.
Yeah.
But so she was in her room and she was hearing stuff in her closet and she thought it was a raccoon, which I thought it was so weird. Like your first thought is like, oh, a raccoon's
I would
in my
love it
closet.
if there
Like
was a
how often
raccoon.
does that happen?
I would be so
And then also
excited.
I would love that. I'd be like, do you want to be my friend forever?
here's
you
some
have
snacks.
little hands. Grab
Yeah.
this
I
snack
prefer
with your
wood
little
chucks.
hands.
I would just put a
They're more
watermelon
warm.
in the closet and set a camera and be like, ha, enjoy.
Yep. You can stay as long as you want. Unfortunately, no, it was not a cute raccoon. She
an ugly
said
man.
it was an ugly man. She said, "Who's there?" And the response
George.
was, "Oh, my name is Drew."
Oh, that's fucked up.
He wasn't
She-
even trying to hide.
No, at that point, I think he was just like,
Oh, he's like,
whatever.
"She caught me."
So she opened the closet door and he's just sitting there in her full out, like he's wearing all of her clothes, like
Wait,
t-shirt,
same bra size,
like,
everything?
maybe same bra size.
That's
her
good luck on his part.
Her socks. So she's like freaked out. She calls her boyfriend to get help. And I guess he's just like there and he seems like, he's just like, okay,
Like, he doesn't even try to run away?
No, he doesn't even try to run away. Instead, he grabs a hat, puts it on, goes into the bathroom and looks at himself in the mirror.
Nice.
And he's like, "You're so pretty. Can I give you a hug?"
To her, to himself.
That's the thing. Like, she said that he didn't touch her. So I'm wondering if he was saying it to himself, like his reflection, seeing himself in her clothes and the
was
hat
cuckoo
and
for
stuff.
Cocoa Puffs.
He has
nuts.
more self-confidence than a lot of people I know.
I don't do that.
I look like
I look in the mirror and I look away.
Yeah, same. You go, Drew. Get it on your bad self.
So yeah, there's some photos. He's a very creepy looking dude.
Oh.
So that's him in her closet. Oh yeah, he had a
That's
book
a little
bag
closet.
of her
That's very
like just
little.
filled with her stuff. So like he was just in there like taking her
Wow.
stuff, and he's just like hanging out, chilling.
So
this
I'm
is his
really-
mugshot.
Wow, he's scary looking.
Yeah, he's very
He
creepy.
looks.
She doesn't have a
like-
lot of things in her closet.
and it's very. I don't want to be mean. She's obviously in college, and I remember like just being really messy in college, and you have other things to think about. But she has like a ton of stuff on her floor.
Yeah.
Like there's like a bag that might be
She
his.
doesn't
I
believe in
wonder.
hangers.
What the fuck happens
There's,
if he
like, a little
sneezes?
bit of stuff.
Like this is the thing. Like, what if you hear a guy sneeze? Like,
Yeah, what if you chew
a
and you couldn't
fucking
hold it
raccoon
in?
does not sneeze?
That's
If
true.
how do you
That's
hold
true.
it? If I was a frogger or whatever the fuck they're called,
You're right, Frogger.
I'm always if I'm in an attic and there's
if
dust
you're a frog.
and
You're a
shit
frog.
everywhere.
Frogger's
if
the
I'm a
game.
frog.
Yeah,
if I'm
that's
a
a game.
frog.
Frogging is
I'm
the
gonna be
act.
sneezing my ass off because there's like dust and stuff
Yeah.
and
I
mildew.
guess you just can't be allergic to things.
Well-
you can't have allergies and stuff if you're a frog.
Well, if you're sniffing shit in an attic, I mean, if he's in the closet
Maybe he's
and
wearing
there's
a
dandruff
mask.
about,
So he clearly was not a successful.
He was breathing through his
frog.
mouth. I guess.
I think there was something wrong. He had some other criminal stuff because they arrested him and he was jailed under $26,000 bond for 14 felony charges, including larceny and identity theft. So obviously there was something going on with him.
He was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. For
this
sure.
happened back in February 2019.
Like,
So yeah,
what?
I think yeah.
I thought this was a long time ago.
No, mine are actually pretty recent. I have one that's 2020.
What?
This is a good year.
This is a terrible year. But most of the time when you see things like this happening, we just like, I personally assume, I'm like, oh, this is like a thing that
Yeah.
happened 10 years ago. It's not happening now. But the fact that there's things circulating on the internet where people are talking about it and people are still doing it, that's super bold.
Yeah, and I
Maybe-
got mine from news stories. So, because like, there's always like the videos online that I was talking about earlier, and like, who knows, those could be faked and stuff like that. But I tried to get mine from like news websites and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of
I
what
wonder
else.
if the pizza smells I'm smelling so close to my bedroom is a man above me cooking me pizzas.
Yeah, but that's
Ooh.
like an apartment above you. That's fine.
Yeah.
What if
But
he's under your bed cooking pizza?
Then he
Lord
better
knows
share
there's
some.
room, so
He's just sitting there like making pizza, and you're sleeping.
he's got like an easy bake and it's like
Well, you go to sleep at like 9 o'clock at night, so he has
do.
from 9 o'clock to 5 a.m. to
That's
do
a good
whatever
amount
he
of
wants.
time.
Yeah.
Check
Check
your
underneath
vents.
your beds.
check your
Check your
vents. Hide
vents.
your kids, hide your wife.
Check your vents. So I have, let me see which one I'll do next. I have quite a few of them, and most of mine, they all say like unidentified person. But this one, we'll do this one. So this is unidentified person. And usually that just means they got away. Either ran away or the police couldn't find them. So Amber Dawn heard footsteps in her attic the night she moved into her apartment in Washington in 1997. So most of mine are older. She checked the trap door because it looked as if it had been pulled by someone from the inside.
A trap door?
Well, like an attic.
Oh,
it's usually
I was thinking like a trap door. I'm like, wait, she has a trap door. Okay, there's other things we need to explore with this lady.
not like a booby trap door. Like
Okay.
they called it
Never
a trap door, but it's like the thing where you have to
hobbit door.
pull it.
And then the ladder comes down.
Right. So hers looked as if the thing had been pulled because obviously you have to pull it up. So it looked like the thing was tucked in as if someone pulled it that was already up in the attic.
Okay.
So she checks. She doesn't hear anything or doesn't see anything. So she tells the landlady, and the landlady said, it's probably a squirrel.
How did the squirrel do that?
The squirrel apparently is
got gains.
is
He's
very
strong.
smart. It grabbed that little string and it's been working out. So it pulls it back up, tucks it in, all is well. So over the next few months, strange things were happening. Things were moved, things were missing. And at one point, her 9-week-old puppy ended up in the bathroom sink because there was a flood. So she chalks it up as I think she said her brother had a key to the apartment. So she assumed it was him. For me, like all of these things are firing off in my head. Did you call your brother? Did you say, hey, did you put the puppy in the sink because there was a flood? Because it was a tiny puppy. There's no steps. It couldn't have like climbed up and jumped in there.
I have a Chihuahua, and we have to have steps to go for her to get on the couch or the bed.
Yeah, so there was
like,
nothing
they can't
around.
do that stuff.
And it wasn't like I was thinking maybe the toilet was there and it jumped on the toilet and jumped in the sink. But she said there was no way for the puppy to get into the sink.
And the squirrel can't lift that fat
And
boy of
the
a
squirrel is
puppy.
too small. And the dog would
Squirrel's
probably
holding the dog up.
after
Here
it
you
puts
go,
the
sweet
dog
child.
in the sink and then goes and closes the trap door.
Yeah.
So she asks her, well, she doesn't say anything about her brother. She just says that she assumed it was him. And I'm like, girl, you dumb? Why don't you call him and say, hey, did you put the puppy in the sink? Also, my apartment's flooded.
Yeah.
So
You can at least let me know my apartment was flooded. Thanks.
clearly as this, I'm like, either she was dumb or the reporter didn't report all the facts of the story.
Yeah.
So 6 months later, she's soaking in the bathtub and looks up at the trap door. They keep saying trap door, but she looks up at the attic door and it was open. She didn't open it.
Peeper.
So she runs,
Peeper frog.
It says she grabs a hammer and her dog and she left. And then she calls her sister-in-law
Okay,
who picks her
Bobila.
up.
Get that hammer.
You're gonna
Use
bludgeon
those
them with
tools.
it. You gotta use your tools. So it says she calls her sister-in-law and immediately I'm like, well, sister-in-law, that means she had a husband or a wife. She had someone, but she lived alone. So there's a lot of things that just don't make sense.
Maybe she's a widow.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she's a hoe.
There's so many questions
It's
to this
fine
story.
if you're. We can
Fine,
be.
which
We
is
support
fine.
hoes.
We all
support
need
them.
love.
You could be whatever
However
you want to
you
be.
get it.
Be what you want to be.
Use your tools.
Yeah.
So the police later searched the apartment and found no one, but they did find in the back of the attic, they found food, a book, and a sleeping bag.
At least
so
she was reading.
She's
He
camping.
was reading, or she was reading.
They
We
were
don't
reading.
know.
We don't
know
know.
if it was a man or a woman.
Could be an alien.
We don't know. Well, at least 6 months because she
be a
said
gray.
this
Big
whole
old-
thing
I hope
happened.
it was a big sleeping bag.
So at least 6 months, this person had been living in her attic,
What
and
book
she
was
thought it
it?
was a squirrel. They didn't say.
Satanic Bible.
I don't know. I feel like
Thomas the
If it
Tank
was
Engine,
that-
Volume 2.
Yeah.
how to be a good squirrel,
It'd be a good frog.
Man.
how to be a
I
frog.
think my biggest fear would be someone who is like frogging or whatever it's called, frogging in my place in like a costume like Chuck E. Cheese, like, you know, like one of those like like a mascot, like that
Like
would
a
freak-
Five Nights at Freddy's
I would
thing?
actually be more scared us to see like Chuck E. Cheese in my attic looking at me rather than a human face. Like that freaks me out.
That's like murder right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or they're a
like
furry.
yeah,
Which are equally.
whatever you want.
But
live your
fucking-
life.
We support
Chuck
everybody.
E. Cheese is
support you.
scary as shit. And
is
I would
very
not,
scary.
that's like a big fear of mine. Is like waking up to Chucky.
but not
He's like
Chucky.
leaning over your
Yeah.
bed.
Not,
Yeah, he
not
doesn't
Chucky, the movie Chucky. Chuck
No,
E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese, the chicken
rat?
fucking mice, whatever the fuck he
He's a-
is.
isn't he a rat?
Apparently on Wikipedia, it says he went from a rat to a mouse, like between like
Oh, they're like, rat isn't a good
yeah,
thing to
rat isn't-
associate
yeah.
with food.
So he by like 2012, he
mouses?
elevated into a mouse.
cuter.
They
Yeah.
are cuter, but
I think
still.
rats are adorable. so-
Anyways,
cute.
I think the anonymity, if I said that right,
You
of
did.
seeing something that doesn't blink back at you, staring at you
No,
in a
this-
costume. It's like a
big
Michael Myers
with
thing. I
rat
guess that's why he's
ears.
so scary, is because like he's just in a mask. And I'm like, that I would rather have like, you know, Billy from the Block.
Drew.
Yeah, I'd rather,
rather have Drew
I
with
mean, at
his
least
weird
Drew looked
haircut?
like he washed his hair, even
He
though
did.
it was
Did you
coming
see
out.
that photo? I'm pretty sure he shaved it.
Well,
yeah, he had like a weird
all have,
reverse.
like a landing
He might have
strip.
alopecia.
comb
Just
over.
let him live. He's living in his
know,
closet.
live your life.
He's
That's
living
fine.
in the closet. Hygiene isn't really tippy top on
That's
his
true.
list. Okay, you have another one, right?
Yes, I do. This one was also super vague, but it had photos, which I felt was like really
I love
weird.
a good photo.
So it says 2 boys find area in house. So I
Wait,
guess
Aryans like the white race?
no area.
Oh.
Wait, what?
That-
Two boys.
So they were running around.
find-
They found an air, like an unknown area, an unexplored area.
They found a secret hatch.
They found a secret
trap door.
area. So they were running around, goofing off. They bumped into the bookcase.
And
And the
and then
bookcase.
it kind of dislodged to where it opened,
That's amazing.
where they
Well.
then found these stairs
Oh.
that went down.
What?
Like
It's like a
how?
spiral.
It's like
There's no
Batman's
footprints.
lair. Like
How do you
is
buy
this
a home
real?
and not know?
and
Like,
not
how do you
know this stuff is here?
jiggle shit around?
Where
Bang
they
those
then
walls. Bang
found a crawl space that had
Reese's
there's
Pieces.
Reese's Pieces, a banana.
Look at those dollies.
Yeah. Oh, he had a bunch of
He
dolls.
had a weird. Ooh.
Whoa.
Oh,
Look
that's
at
a
this
cute
one.
little Western doll.
They're creepy.
I love them. So, yeah, it was ET.
Is that
Basically.
They said there was like this weird key. I think that's
Listen, if I'm buying a house,
Sour Skittles.
I'm getting the that like detection thing to see if
So you
there's
can
like
find, like, a
warm,
stud?
detect flesh?
No, like you had a thermal camera and you can detect heat. So if he was hiding behind there, you would find like heat
know.
signatures. And you also fucking look around.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
move
weird
some
how
things.
like whoever owned the house, whoever put that, someone had to install
Someone
that.
made that.
Someone went and put
They went
that
to Home
weird
Depot.
staircase going down, and then someone put bookcases in front of it. So like this is very
That's some
elaborate for it
L.L.
to be
Hubbard,
like
or whatever the fuck
someone
his name is.
That's
hidden,
a murder dungeon.
hiding.
That's what you call
Yeah.
a murder dungeon.
You know what? Like, it makes me think about those people who have really massive houses, even out here, who have like 7 bedrooms, like 7 garages, an underground fucking swim tank, like all this shit where like no human, and it's one person and probably their hoe. So like they have this giant
And
house.
we support
You
them.
know,
Support
we
hoes.
support the hoes. We love them. Get your money. But like you could never physically possibly be in all those rooms at all the same time, nor
Yeah.
could you inspect it enough to know every nook and cranny because they're so fucking huge.
Yeah, you could. You walk
Like,
around.
They're like 20,000
Every night you have your
feet.
rounds where you
Yeah.
go through
Hello?
and you check
Holy
every
shit.
You
day.
want to die? No. You
I
gotta
can
inspect.
barely dust my 2-bedroom apartment without being like, fuck this shit. Like, I can't imagine being actively present in all my rooms to know whether there's a man in my closet.
So we have cameras. Most people have cameras outside,
Yeah.
but every once in a while you put a nice little camera on the inside because you never know whether it's a person, whether it's a ghost. So Cameron and I will sometimes, he always wants the dolls to move. Like he'll place them in a certain spot and then hope that when we come back that
Baby
they moved. And
Secret
I'm
is
like,
doing-
if Baby Secret is like sitting on the floor and we distinctively left her on the couch, I'm going to be a little frightened, but I'm also going to refer to the footage. So get a damn camera.
Baby
They're not
Secret
that
has the
expensive.
same hair as
Yeah.
Drew. That's what I realized.
Baby Secret
Oh
and
my
Drew
gosh.
have the same hairstylist.
They go to the same stylist.
They're in the same party group.
So I
but who
have
wore it better? Drew
Baby Secret
or
for
Baby
sure.
Baby
Secret?
Secret.
I vote Baby
Secret,
Secret.
yeah, always.
Leave the comments down below and we'll
Baby
tally 'em
Secret
up.
for the win. So I have another one, and this one isn't is creepy, but is also kind of creepy. So Tigra Shepherd, in 2008, a woman found strangers living in her South Carolina home. Catherine Lang, who was the owner of the home, had just returned from a vacation and decided to inspect the pipes of her new home, which,
Randomly.
you know, you just come home
You
and
gotta
you're like,
inspect pipes.
I just got to check my pipes. So what I'm thinking is it's in South Carolina that
I'm doing that when I get home. Every time I come home from your place, I'm like, I gotta check
check
my
my
pipes.
Waiting
pipes.
for that.
I like get a nervous twitch. I'm like, gotta check
my pipes. So
dirty.
in South Carolina, apparently the pipes are outside. So she gets home. The description in the article is very strange, but I have a visual of she gets home and she's like, I'm going to check to make sure there wasn't a leak or whatever. So she's like walking around the outside of the home and she finds a cat and dog. She's like, that's weird. Like in her yard.
Oh, like they're
It's-
living there. They're
but-
not just.
Yeah, and she hasn't lived in this home yet. So she's still trying to sell her old home. She's living in the old
Shit.
home. So she's basically comes back from vacation, is like, I'm going to check on my house. Finds, I'm going to check my pipes, finds a cat and a dog. She's like, this is strange. So she goes inside and she finds 2 women, like just in her house. One of the women, I don't know if it's Tyga or Tigra Shepherd, have moved into the house finding an ad on Facebook. So she found a Facebook ad and it said like house for rent. It was $1,150. And when she went to meet the owners, they said, hey, just make sure that you use the back door because the person that was supposed to meet us here with the keys is detained by the police.
Okay.
I was like,
Nice.
but the 2 women decided, fine, we'll just use the back door. No big deal. We don't need keys to
Where's
the.
this
I just
again?
gave you in South Carolina. I just gave this owner $1,150, and I have to use the
can't
back
use
door
the
because I
back
don't even
door.
have
I don't
keys.
have keys. I mean, I guess if they're really nice, like if the owner is super nice and they're just like, hey, let me just
No,
be
that's
honest
fucked
with
up.
you.
No, that's fucked up.
No, hey, I'm the owner, but some stranger that just got arrested has my keys to my house.
That's also true because they can come back.
right.
Yeah.
Like, what if they get out of jail either by bond or escaping, and the first place they're going to go was their house
Yeah.
because they have the keys?
Escape.
Okay.
So
Escape.
I found
Fragile.
that one more comical than scary because it's like, don't be stupid. First of all, you just got
Yeah.
scammed. And then the lady was like kind of pissed off because she's like, are you going to give me my money back? And she's like, I'm not the owner.
You didn't give me money. I can't give it to you back.
So yeah, not necessarily like a mystery roommate, just kind of an unfortunate series of events. You come back from your vacation and you're like, oh wow, there's strangers living in my home.
But now I'm going to be a little bit scared to go into like Airbnbs. Like, you know, when you rent a whole house,
Oh my
now you
God, I
really,
didn't even
really
think
gotta
of
think about
that.
that. Because there's been so many cases where there's been cameras, but now I'm like, not only could there be cameras,
could
there
be a
could be a
man.
man.
Or a woman.
Or it could not be like
man.
it
Or a
could not be
squirrel.
like the house that someone could put someone else's house, like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
let's say like we know someone and like, well, they're always on vacation. Well, I'm going to put their house up on Airbnb and then like have
didn't
people
even
going and
think of
staying in their
that.
house without
Yeah.
them
Taking the
knowing
money.
and taking the money,
I don't even know how that works. Like, how do they verify that
that it's your house.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
I don't know.
I've never done it.
my
So
God.
That's, well, we're going to
Check-
just have
now you have to-
hotelies forever.
you have to check your hotel, you have to check your motel, you have to check your own house or apartment, and you have to check the Airbnb.
Nobody's safe.
Bring all
You're
of your
never safe.
thermal
Buy a
cameras. Just buy a taser.
Zap some guys in the ass. That's what I do.
Just zap
Not
them
for
in the
pleasure,
ass.
just when they're trying to beat me up. And I've
Just
only had
zap
to do
'em in
it
the
once.
ass.
So things getting a little dusty.
Does anyone else have any other stories?
No.
There was one that I thought was funny because the title was "Man Expects to Find Squirrels in Attic, Finds Stranger Living in Home." So this was Oklahoma City.
Why squirrels? Squirrels are so
Oklahoma
cute. They
City.
get-
Oh, I said that weird. Oklahoma City.
tie.
Yeah, that's
tie.
another thing where it's like, it's always interesting to hear people's first thoughts. Like, if you heard sounds, like, what's the first thing that you would think? Like, are you gonna go, oh, it's a squirrel? Like, I don't know what it would
In my
think.
neighborhood, you never fucking know. Like, you're like, someone
Who?
could be dying.
No.
and
I
it
definitely
could be
wouldn't.
a squirrel though, too.
I wouldn't go to squirrel first.
No.
Yeah, I don't
absolutely
know. I don't
not.
think squirrel would be the first.
Pigeons
thing.
make weird noises too, though.
Yeah, but also people are like, I heard footsteps. Maybe it's a squirrel. Does a squirrel have feet? Well, I mean, it
Yeah,
does.
It does have
It
feet,
does.
They
actually.
levitate.
But it doesn't have like feet that would make with shoes.
Like,
Doesn't have
squirrels don't have shoes.
No, they don't have girthy feet. Just say it. They don't have thick boy legs.
They don't. They don't wear shoes. Okay. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
This one was also interesting because he called 911. So the news article that I saw had the 911 call, and it's him going, "Yeah, there's a man in my house." And the lady's like, "There's a man in your house?" He's like, "Yeah, I have him at gunpoint." And then he's like, telling the guy, because I guess he remembered that so he's like, send people over here. Then he remembered that his gate on because he's like on a farm or something. Like, it looked like a big stretch of land. So he remembered that the gate had a lock on it. So he's like, I need to go down there to unlock the gate so that the police can come in. But then he's like, but I can't leave this guy here. So he was like directing the guy at gunpoint, like, okay, grab your stuff, we're leaving. Okay, no, to the left. No, okay, go to your right. Okay, the door on the right. And he's like telling him where to go. So yeah, that was great. They
What
didn't
a
have
nice
a name
host,
for him.
though. At least an unidentified man.
Yeah, I said undone it. They said that he went to jail after that. I don't know for what.
That man
But that
took
was
his
February
things
2020.
and
He's
he
like,
went
pick
into
up your
jail.
stuff. Okay, no, go right. It was great. The lady's like, do you still have him at gunpoint? He's like, yes, I do. Get people over here right now.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Be like, hold on, let me go open the gate so we can escape.
Yeah.
With all of his things.
Yeah, you just turn around and then
But he doesn't have a
person's
name.
gone. No.
He doesn't have a name. Well, I guess. See, that's the thing is a lot of these people, if they were arrested, we need to know their name.
I like unidentified.
Yeah, but what if?
I want to change my name to unidentified.
unidentified person?
Unidentified junkus.
Listen, unidentified person though.
I love
if
it.
you're going to go to prison for living in someone's house, it's probably not a long term. You're going to go in for
Yeah.
maybe a year, a couple of years. If
the
that,
most.
Cameron's shaking his head saying no.
They'd call me
Maybe-
uni for short.
But then you get let out, and if I don't know who you are, you're going to live
gonna
in
come
someone
back?
else's attic.
But not even that. Are you going to come back to my house?
Oh, you'd
Because
be
you got into
stupid.
my house once.
But you're also stupid for doing it in the first place, so you might be dumb enough to go back. But the
Yeah.
guy has a gun, so chances are
That's true.
And
He
maybe he
probably
locked
Why
his
don't you
left
gate.
a-
get, you know those laser things? Like the laser.
Where you
like,
break it and then
yeah, it goes.
it trips.
Yeah.
Like a trippy ass laser would be.
That
would
sounds
be
like
great.
a cat.
Yeah.
I see all of these like little booby traps are great.
You talking
but
about
then-
me?
Booby trap junkus.
Little booby trap. That's my name.
I would set off my own booby traps, or I would forget,
Yeah.
or I would like.
I would, yeah. I mean, even with the, because we have the Ring alarm,
Yeah, those
and
too.
we have it so like if you open up a door, like it'll beep, and then we set it.
Oh, you
to,
have the sensors,
Yeah,
like
we have
the-
the sensors on the doors and on some of the windows. So at night we have it set to alarmed.
Yeah.
So like if one of the doors opens or if the window opens, the alarm goes off. And there'll be times where
you
like
forget?
I forget in the morning and then I go and I open up the door and then it goes off.
What does the
and
alarm
then
sound like?
I can't.
Is it really loud?
Yeah.
Like jarring sound?
It's like, and then you forget and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. And then you have to quickly go and put the passcode in, but then you forget what the passcode is because you're freaking out, and then you push every single button, and Leota wants to go out and pee, and I'm like, oh, just give me a second, let me do the alarm, and then she's freaking out because she freaks out over
Can you just set up a camera in here so we could get that?
Just so we
Can you
talk
switch
about
it to like a song so it's less jarring, like Lean Back by 50
Lean Back. Okay, but that's not going to scare them if it's an actual burglar.
Yeah, but
to steal your noodles.
as shit if I was a burglar.
That's
and I'm
true,
like,
and
wait,
you heard that and you're like, wait a
is
second.
this a party?
What did I
Should I
stumble
go?
into?
Should I lean back?
Am I supposed to lean back?
Do I
Or it's just
lean?
the ham horn over and over again. And it gets louder and louder.
Effective.
Effective.
I don't think lean back would be as effective. Like if I were a burglar, I'd be like, oh, this sounds like inviting. Let's go inside.
A jam though.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay,
yeah.
I have one more, I think. Should I do one more and then we can move on?
Well, then
to-
we have tips on
Oh,
signs
yes.
to look for, so you
fuck
can
your story. Let's
make
go
sure.
into tips.
Okay,
You
go
wanna
to
do
tips.
tips? Okay.
My story's kind of long.
So here are some quick tips to know if someone is living inside your house.
Just the tip.
Just some tips.
Just the quick ones.
Just the little
I can't
ones.
even make my nails are too long to make a tip gesture.
Noises in your attic. So if you hear stuff,
Probably
not your
not
house
probably not
settling.
squirrels. It's not raccoons.
Probably not a
It's a
squirrel.
man.
And if it's a raccoon, call me because I'll come take it.
We'll come and we'll keep it.
Or a baby goat.
This
Or a
one was
baby goat.
weird. It says fingerprints in previous pristine places. So like if you
Who
like,
looks at that shit?
I know like if you,
I mean, I would look at that.
I guess
'Cause I have OCD.
I don't.
I
think
touch
about that.
every-
If
Everything.
there was fingerprints on this or on the table or on my
Like big
glasses
ones.
that I
You
clean.
do like I do know like if we're like sitting and talking like you'll be cleaning things. So like I guess if someone came in and like some
Like
of
if
your
someone
stuff
touched
was
that and I'd be like, did you touch that? And he said no, I'd be like, that's
Someone
a
else
person
touched
living in
it.
the closet.
yeah, obviously.
True.
Strange smells. So that
Body
like
odor.
poopy in bags, stuff like that.
Poopy in bags.
You've never been in your attic. That's what I suffer from. Personal items missing. Feelings of being watched.
I don't
I don't have that.
Well, that's because we don't have a stranger living in our
That's true. I don't.
quarters.
Hopefully not. Feelings. Things aren't in their proper place. So like if you're like you put certain things,
The tray
and they're
always
like kind
goes
of
here.
moved.
Or if you find a pumpkin in your sink, and then you realize it was you.
Because you're drunk.
Or you just had a bad night.
Not a stranger.
Not a stranger.
stranger.
Drunk Ashley.
Just drunk
me.
Ashley in your house. Well, I guess that is okay.
Kind of a
If you
stranger.
don't- It might be.
Well,
a stranger.
sometimes I like touch just random shit all the time in my like I just touch walls and shit. Like I would never know in my apartment if fingered. Don't get any ideas, guys. But like I put things in random places because I feel like it, and I touch shit and I leave fingerprints, and I'm like I'm never looking for
So
that.
no one will ever. We'll have to test this theory out.
Yeah.
Okay, continue to your
trash
tips.
in items in uncommon places.
Wait, what?
Like so, if there's empty Coke cans
Oh,
and
gotcha.
like or like discarded
Also-
skip bags and stuff like that.
Not that
just
I'm
in random
in-
places.
Encouraging people to break into other people's homes and live in them, but if you want to get away with it, I feel like it's not that hard.
Here are rules on how to live in someone's houses without getting
Not that
detected.
we're condoning this.
We're not condoning.
but rent
this.
is
Please
very
don't do that.
expensive, so I don't say
Ashley
No.
said she wouldn't notice if you were there.
no.
so.
You can't live in my
Make
apartment.
pizza underneath her bed. Sorry, just a few more.
Well, yes,
Pets are
do that.
acting funny. Which actually I saw some stories where people said that like there was someone living in their house, but they have like dogs, but their dogs
We're chill.
would never bark at them or
'Cause they
anything
probably
like
gave
that
them
because they
treats.
got used to them living there. So like, oh, you live here.
That's Jimmy from the roof.
Yeah, that's Jimmy. He always goes upstairs for some
He gives me
reason.
a milk bone.
Landlord tried to kick out previous renters, so like maybe they got kicked out, but then they never wanted to leave. So like they know the house, so they know where to stay. Shower is always wet, and open cupboards or doors, which. The problem is Matt and I, whenever we get a glass, I at least I'm really bad at it. I'll leave the cupboard doors open. So like there'll be times where I go back into the kitchen after I've been cooking and I'll be like, why are all these cupboards open? It's because for some reason I just forget to close them after I open them.
It's like my whole life before drinking coffee in the morning. I'll just open everything, and then after I'm caffeinated, I'm like, "What?
Who did this?
Who did that shit?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I was looking for the sugar for the 9th time in a row.
I
Opened
can't
everything."
do that. Our cabinets here, like you'll hit your head on them, so I always have to close them. But they do have little magnets on them, So in a lot of the stories where people were saying like things were open or like moved around, the reason they do that is because usually closing it makes a sound. So they leave them open because like on our cabinets, there's magnets. So when you close it all the way, it makes like a little click.
Yeah.
Or the microwave is open or the pantry door is open because if you close the microwave, it makes a sound.
That's true.
So it's usually easier to hit the button. You do it once to take your stuff out, but then you don't want to have that
Big cough to like cover it. And then like, wait, who's coughing?
I don't want to own a house now. I'm like
You just have
over
to
it.
have proper security.
Well, do I look
and
like I make enough casual enough for a
these.
security
Listen,
man?
we'll print the tips on a sheet for you, and you can have a nighttime checklist.
I'm just gonna hire Terry. Fuck it,
Terry. We need you.
Terry. You don't have an Instagram. You don't
Terry
have my phone
Crews?
number. No,
our friend Terry.
My friend
okay.
Terry. But I will hire you. I'll
To
sell
come
my
protect
kidney.
us.
Yeah, to laugh at my fucking jokes.
I'm going to tell this last one. I'll do it real quick because we have to move on to our next thing. So in 2013, there was a group of college kids that were going to Ohio State University and they were living off campus. So they were living just like in a house that they rented. They kept hearing things and they would always joke and say like, oh, haha, we have a ghost. Like there must be a ghost. They would just hear weird sounds and stuff. Things would go missing. Things were moved around. So clearly it wasn't a ghost, and they had a maintenance worker that had to come in to get into the basement. So the basement door was locked. They didn't have a key, which they thought was weird, but the maintenance worker had to basically like break down the door to go in there. And he found a bed, he found books, he found clearly someone was living there. And I don't remember if it was like 3 or 4 college students, which I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh, a bunch of college dudes, they're not really... They don't care. They're not paying attention. They're not observant.
Yeah.
If their thing is like, haha, we have a ghost, and that was as far as it went, it's not bothering them.
Yeah.
So then they find that a kid was living there. His name was Jeremy. And the interesting thing, I'm just doing this abbreviated. Interesting thing is they had seen him in the house before when they found out who it was. And they're like, oh, I met him before. How do I know him?
So they think it's just like a
They
friend
just
that
thought
comes
it was
and
one of
hangs out?
they thought it was one of the other roommates. And the problem was he had a key. So he had lived there before and the landlord never changed the locks. So this is a college house. So they're like, it could be hundreds of people that had keys to this apartment or this house. We don't even know. But they were nice enough to let the kid, like he couldn't afford it. They were nice enough to let him take his things and go. And he wasn't like, they didn't press charges or anything. He was just kind of down and out.
That was my next
Don't
question.
press charges for being crafty. That's what I say.
Well, he wasn't trying to he wasn't being creepy. He wasn't trying to hurt anyone.
Yeah, he's not like watching them at night while they sleep and stuff like that. But like all these stories were like, oh, we went down into this creepy crawl space and we found all this stuff. Like the person with the dolls, did they ever get their dolls back?
Whose dolls are those?
They're probably his
Whoever
dolls.
was living down
Yeah.
there. Like, did they ever come back to get their dolls?
That Reese's peanut butter cup looked like it was still sealed.
There's still some in there.
Yeah.
I need that.
The sour Skittles. I love sour Skittles.
I need that stuff.
There's no Doritos.
There's probably sugar at the
Kinda
bottom of the
sad.
bag that I
Yep.
need to quickly.
The sour sugar. I don't know that man. Well, he was unidentified, so we don't know. I feel like those earthly possessions weren't important enough to
That's true.
need them for
Those dolls
his-
were ugly as shit.
The little
The
Western,
cute little Western
the little
guy, he was
Western
doing
little
that.
You can find
handkerchief.
one of those anywhere. eBay.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think he's on eBay. He's frogging from house to house.
No. Maybe
Well,
he
you-
is. Maybe
well,
that's how he funds his.
Maybe he lives in a library next and he uses the computers at night.
You never know.
That's true. He could go during the day and buy his dolls, and then where do you have them shipped? To the house you're living in, and you have to like you know how there's all those videos of people like, oh, someone came and like took my Amazon box. Maybe it's them shipping their own stuff to
darling.
your house.
It's the frogs.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't have a house.
I don't
so
have a house, so I'm
going
to ship my stuff to your house, and then I'm just going to go and grab it.
And you
hope
thought
don't
it was
have a
your
ring camera.
package.
Yeah, you thought it was yours, but really it's his doll collection.
his little Western doll.
Yeah,
We all have a thing.
Makes sense.
it's all connected.
It's
We've
all
got our
cyclical.
clowns. He's got his Western men.
And we have nobody living in our attics. Well, we don't know. I think your job
Well,
is to do
I'll
a
go
video.
check at some point. It probably won't be tonight. Probably won't be tomorrow.
You got to buy a ladder first.
I have to buy a ladder.
We should
Or
live
just-
stream it.
Yeah.
You should live stream it. We'll just go and someone will stand on the other person's shoulders. That's tall enough, right?
I think so.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And we'll find if you, in fact, do or do not have a man living in your attic.
If we never upload to this channel after this video, send help.
I'll bring my
please.
taser.
You bring the taser,
Yeah.
because otherwise Attic Man murdered us. And with that, we are moving on to Creepy Treats, which we have something very exciting to reveal. So give us just one moment and we'll BRB.
That's Be Right Back for all you oldies.
Okay, so we are back. We are ready for our special edition of Creepy Treats called What's in the Coffin? So Ashley has inserted an item into the coffin. AJ and I do not know what's in the coffin.
Full penetration insertion.
And everybody's
into the coffin.
making faces off. We can't see in the mirror. Everybody's making faces off
I see
screen.
the other coffin.
And like now my heart is beating because I'm nervous. I wasn't nervous
gonna be
before.
fine,
I
guys.
think we can rename this section "Taking Years Off AJ's Life."
No,
because
and you guys
I
can
just-
guess as you feel, and I'll tell you but you're not going to get it right. That's the thing. That's what's fun about this.
They're
never going to get this.
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
Never
Gonna get it. Never gonna get it. They're all like making faces, and I'm
Everyone has
seriously
their
sweating.
cameras out.
Please insert your
By
hands.
everyone, we just mean two
Please
other people.
insert your hands into the proper slits at the same time, AJ. Take that hand and stop being a wuss.
Okay.
Pop it in and
I don't see you putting your
cop
hand in
a
here.
feel, babies.
What touched me?
Feel it up.
It feels
Are you
like
feeling
wet
it?
lettuce. Oh wait, no, there's like
There's
little
a hard
hairs.
thing. It's
Oh, it's a chia pet.
Nope.
it's a doll.
No.
That's a nose. That's nose holes.
Is it a wet doll? Is it wet baby secret?
What kind of wet baby?
baby
doll?
secret?
What kind of doll? What?
It says
kind-
hair. It's a yeah. Hold on. Wait. No, that's the bowl.
Wait, he has a little hat on or
Wait, what is
something.
this?
Is it a Chucky doll?
Nope.
What? Oh, hold on. It's got a bell.
He's a special kind of man.
It's hair. This ears.
What's
Do you
this?
feel ears?
Oh my god, wait, what was that?
This is ears, and
Something
it's got
bit me.
It's got. Wait, what? Where's your hand? Tell me where did it
Touch
bite
my
you?
hand right here.
Here.
You're getting him dirty.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
Feel harder.
It's a chia pet.
No.
Is it a troll?
No.
It has
It has hair. It has
Feel
ears.
his bell.
his
Feel his
What do you?
bell.
What has a bell?
A clown.
Scooby Doo.
Kind of.
Is it?
Doesn't he have a bell on it?
No, he has a charm that says
Oh, it's a little
Scooby.
charm.
This
No,
is
it has
like
a
this is
SB.
like a clown collar.
SB.
Yeah, but what is he?
He's a clown.
A baby clown?
He's got a very large head.
He's wearing a hat.
He's a
Old
bozo?
time-
Do I just need to tell you?
Because
Because he doesn't like to be fondled. That's what he told me last night.
jingles. Jingle? He has a jingle bell.
I will tell you. I will show you.
Can I have one more? Okay.
Yes. What? Give me your final guesses.
He has blonde hair.
Yes, he
He's
does.
a dirty, wet clown with the bell.
What's your answer?
I feel like that's pretty.
I don't know. I
what's-
didn't know we had to
this
get
is hair?
specific
What is
in
this?
naming him.
I named him. Let me grab him by the hair.
Jumbo.
This is
Jangles.
Didrik the clown.
Oh,
My friend found him on the street.
We made him
And
real
then
dirty.
she gave it to me for Christmas.
You found him in the street.
I put my fingers up his.
Didrik.
You found
I
him in the
was touching
street.
this.
So he's got
That's LA
4
street
ears.
clown.
Yeah, he's got 4 ears.
Sorry, we
Where's
made him
my
dirty.
Hands.
Yeah. Well, look at all this shit you put on his
I'm sorry.
face.
I'll clean him
Okay.
after.
Apologize to him.
That's a really good one. I'm sorry, dear Diedrich. Jester.
He's got the same
He's a
foundation color as me.
jester. I like that one. The hair. I didn't think I would be afraid, and that was real creepy. Okay, who's next? Put your hands in the holes and tell me.
I have my eyes closed. I'm fucking
Oh, I never said open them. Tell me what's in the coffin. But remember, don't take your hands out until I clean them off.
I just feel Ashley's hand.
What do you think it is?
Fruit roll-ups.
Dog food. Dog food.
Why did you make that sound?
Dog food.
It's not dog food.
Is that shit?
Dogs.
Is it dog throw up?
That's my hand again.
I don't feel anything.
What does it feel like?
Peanut butter.
It feels like fruit roll-ups.
It's not for roll-ups.
Oh, is this shit?
But no, they can't smell their fingers because they're going to get the stuff all over the things. Just silence.
I don't like this. Is it edible?
chocolate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, Cam.
I think I could show them because you said all of the things that it is.
It feels like it's peanut butter and sand.
It's what?
Peanut butter and sand.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you. Wait, let me see your fingers. Oh, you're fine. You can take them out.
Should I smell them?
Yeah, smell them.
I'm scared.
It smells like my kitchen.
What is it?
I opened a Clorox one. It's cosmic brownies, but they look like turds.
It's
when you said poop, you were not wrong. And when you said chocolate,
What did I
you were
feel?
not wrong. There's they're
felt
cosmic brownies, so they have like the little sprinkles.
Why does
try
my
to take them
fingers
out.
smell like tar?
I just smell.
What have I been
It smells like
touching?
chocolate. Okay, AJ,
What have
you're
I
up.
been touching?
They're in. Okay,
Yeah,
I should
they're
stop
in the
asking.
bowl.
Okay, you ready?
Wait, I gotta figure out which hand.
Use this hand.
No, that one I need for writing.
Your hand's not gonna fall off.
It's not gonna bite you.
I don't care. This is
Okay, are we
my
going?
secret hand.
Are you going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just pick it up and it's kind of smushy.
Wait, that's my hand.
Hi.
Oh,
That
It's
felt
an
like
avocado!
feathers. Oh,
I don't want to touch
But
it.
it's
hold
like
on.
smushy.
I don't want to touch
Oh.
it.
I know what it is. I know what it is. You go. Get it.
I'm scared to
Get
touch
it. Get it. Get it.
No, I don't want it. It's an avocado.
Do I
Why
have-
is this the one that she's afraid of?
I don't like it.
You
Why
touched
are you afraid
poop
of
2 seconds ago.
avocados? Do I have to know what is inside of it or just what it is?
I don't know. I don't know what it's.
Yeah.
But there's like it's squishy.
I don't want to squish it.
Just pick it up. I have it in
No.
my hand and I'm like vigorously.
Is it round?
It's like you pick it up.
No, I don't want to pick it up.
I'm holding it. It's not that bad. Whatever it is.
I don't want to.
Just don't be a baby.
Is this a potato?
It's not a potato.
Is it alive?
No,
Nothing's
Oh,
alive.
okay.
It's nothing's alive because we don't want to hurt anything. Dude, would you just
Squishy.
pick it up?
You have to squish it.
She's crying. She's gonna cry. I think we've broken her.
I don't like the way it feels.
Here.
No.
Let me give you mine and I'll get the other one. Give me your hand. Hold it. Your hands are sweaty as fuck.
She's legit crying. This isn't even that
Hold
bad.
it. Hold it. Where's that? Okay. Do I have to guess what's on the inside?
Is this a baby
I don't know.
head?
I don't know the rules. On.
Is it a yarn ball?
It's a pom-pom baby.
It's a yarn pom-pom, but something's in it on the inside. And is it an egg? It's a hard-boiled egg.
Do we just
Ew.
It's an egg.
It's an egg.
It's an egg with yarn on the outside.
That's disgusting.
Is it like, if I squeezed it, would it break?
Yeah.
Mine was so
I'm glad I
yucky.
didn't squeeze it.
That's why I kept saying it's smushy.
That was good.
What
Wait.
the fuck?
Mine was, it scared me. It was way hairier. Look
Oh,
at this.
God.
This is your other.
That one has weird textures, man.
It does because it has
That
the
is felt.
smooth and it has a little spiky.
Not a smooth egg
this
in my
was
department.
way more eventful than I anticipated it being. What'd you guys think? How are your
crying.
stress levels?
No, this is. For some reason this isn't as bad as
The food things?
the blindfolded food thing for me.
I didn't like that one.
I surprisingly was very anxious the entire time. I'm like, nothing scares me. I'll be fine.
I'm
And
literally
then
You have like a
what's it called?
straddling.
What's it called when you go on the bus?
man spreading.
I'm man spreading the table in fear right now. I'm like,
I'm sweating. That's how
I'm
nervous I
literally,
got.
like doing the splits.
You're like crying.
You were crying. She was
Didn't
afraid.
like the way that feel. It went from shit to fucking fuzzies. It's like all the fetishes in one.
Oh my
jar.
God. So sweaty. Amazing. I loved it. Good job, guys. I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you, Ashley. I thought the last one, I was like, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it.
I don't like touching random shit.
But she like went into yours full force.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I couldn't even really touch it because you were like
That was weird. I thought I could eat it.
You could.
I
It's
know.
a brownie.
I don't want to now.
It's a poop brownie. So with that, I hope you enjoyed What's in the Coffin. We'll be bringing this back for future episodes as well. So that'll do it for this episode. You can watch all of our episodes at letsgetspooky.com. You can also listen on iTunes and Spotify. So thanks for joining, Fiends. I'm Leanna Vamp.
I'm AJ.
and I'm Ashley.
And don't forget to
Stay spooky.